episode, it almost had a pay-per-view feel to it. It had a very unique feel to it. It had this one-night-only feel to it, and it felt very exclusive to watch. WWE really returned to the roots in Madison Square Garden, where WrestleMania 1, 10, and 20 was aired from, in accordance with other pay-per-views such as Survivor Series 2002 with the first ever Elimination Chamber match, Royal Rumble 2008, SummerSlam 1998, Royal Rumble 2000, and many more pay-per-views and Madison Square Garden moments as they showed in their video. This was a really good night, good intense action, very unpredictable night, and I think that Raw has really stepped it up the last couple of weeks. SmackDown has been good and been rated good by WWE fans on the internet and outside of the internet for a very long time now, but Raw has really stepped it up, and it's been very interesting to watch because you really don't know what's gonna happen right now. And one reason why WWE has really stepped it up on Raw, I believe, is all of these integrated feuds, as I like to call them. We have seen now for a long while before this, both on SmackDown Raw, that Wrestler A feuds with Wrestler B and Wrestler C feuds with Wrestler D, and when they are in those feuds, they are very separated in those feuds, and they only have one enemy and one foe at a time. However, in recent weeks, this is a way for WWE to book apparent booking, as they have been focusing on children for almost a year now. But like I said, I think WWE has really turned up the volume since the summer. Night of Champions was a great pay-per-view. SummerSlam was an extraordinary good pay-per-view. Breaking Point was good. Hell in a Cell was a little slope. Bragging Rights was really good, felt really unique, and Survivor Series probably will be as good. So they have really stepped it up and knocked TNA out every pay-per-view every month since the summer, no discussion. And I think one reason they have managed to do this is because they know how to put on a good show. And they have had, as I said, this integrated feuds recently now. You have, take D-Generation X for instance. They have their wrestling match with John Cena, triple threat match for the championship coming up at Survivor Series. But had that been 1 year ago, that would have been the only thing they did. But it's not. Also, they have been integrated and been feuding and been battling with Jericho, and one has to believe that there is a title shot coming up at the tag team titles for G-Generation X as well. That's 2 feuds, and they have also been involved in an entertainment feud, so to speak, with Hornswoggle. Think what you want about him, but still, what does this do? Well, it does that. You will never know. As long as D-Generation X comes to the ring, you will never know what's going to happen. You never know whom they're going to direct their attention to, and you never know who might come out, because they have several foes and opponents and feuds going on. Same thing, Jack Swagger, The Miz. The Miz is feuding with Morrison. They have their Team Morrison versus Team Miz feud. You would think that Team Miz would be in a union. They would be Pierce facing Morrison's team, that's Pierce, but also instead Miz is feuding somewhat with Jack Swagger in his own team. And that's also doing for pretty much unpredictable TV, because you don't know what will happen at Survivor Series. You don't know what will happen. You don't know whom will cost whom. And like tonight last night in Madison Square Garden, when The Miz came out to defend his championship, United States, I thought, well, okay, it's gonna be Jack Swagger. It's pretty much a safe thing to say, to bet money on. And that would, I didn't like it when I thought about it, because that would actually kill the tension that is between Swagger and The Miz. That would make them be able to blow their steam off before the pay-per-view and then go in as one to face Team Morrison. So I really believed, well, it's going to be Swagger, and I know I wasn't the only one believing that. Most of you people probably thought it was Jack Swagger, but no. Instead it was MVP coming out, meaning they saved the Jack Swagger, The Miz feud, along as The Miz goes in to feud with Morrison. I really like this concept where they put feuds on hold, because there are other feuds that are more important for a certain wrestler. He has several opponents to take care of, but he has to focus on one of them. Meaning, this, as I said, this brings for a more unpredictable product, and it also brings for longer feuds, long-term feuds, where you have seen more or less Swagger and The Miz feud already for a month. Still, there is no much coming because The Miz has got his hands full with Morrison. So as I said again, this is a really good way to create more interest. And as I said earlier in the video from this past summer in August, that WWE is indeed turning up the product. There is no TV 14 coming, but wrestling in no way whatsoever has to be TV 14 to be entertaining. It could very well be one shape of a PG rating to still be entertaining. It's not the TV 14 rating that makes the product good. In no way whatsoever. No way whatsoever. So as I said, this not so apparent feud. I mean, kids, when you're booking a show for kids, you really need things to be obvious. You have this wrestler, he's a foe of this wrestler, and the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys always come along. They're good friends, and the bad guys, they also do get along well and are friends. But that's not the case right now. Also, you saw Triple H pedigree hornswoggle, which probably was to the dismay of many kids, and probably wasn't that makes kid wonder what did that happen, because both guys are supposed to be popular. You had in the main event The Undertaker, Tombstone, John Cena. Now why did he do that? I don't know. But that also embarks for something coming in the near future, perhaps a feud, The Undertaker, John Cena. I don't know. Same thing for Cena here. He now has his title to defend against DX this Sunday on the pay-per-view. He has a feud with them, but also one gotta assume that he really would like to get his hands on The Undertaker as well. So like I said, once again, very interesting, very integrated feuds where they intermix in a very many ways, which make it more interesting for more adult fans. As I said, this is a clear sign of WWE tuning up the volume, making the product more mature. No TV 14, but that's not needed, that's not required whatsoever. That doesn't solve anything, it doesn't make world peace. But as I said, if you go back and watch WWE 6 months ago, you will see, you probably haven't noticed, but you will see that there has been drastic changes. You have much more violent matches, you have much more aggressiveness showed by the wrestler. They are being much more disrespectful towards each other. They are more sexual slurs. There are more foul language. Not that much, but I mean, just saying fuck and shit doesn't make a product good. But still, it's more words like that, and like the Roddy Piper Vince McMahon promo, that was more or less a pure shot promo. Everything they said were more or less based on reality, which also applies for older fans. Most of Roddy Piper's jokes he cracked before Vince came out were, if you didn't watch wrestling in the 80s, early 90s, you did not get half the jokes he made, you didn't get half the points of what he made. So this show was very unique in that way, and this is also how the WWE has been booking. They have been tuning up. They can't change a product. You can't change a product overnight. You do it slowly, slowly, slowly. So slowly that the fans doesn't really notice, and so that the PTC doesn't notice, and so that parents doesn't notice. And in that way, you slowly change the product, and all of a sudden both kids and adults can enjoy it, because this was truly an enjoyable show. You had Sheamus attacking non-wrestlers such as Mark Yeadon. When was the last time you saw that? That's also a way of WWE turning up the volume, because having big strong men beating on innocent poor weak men, small men much less strong than them, not as strong as them, not as tall as them, that's like a Superman beating on a regular citizen. You don't see it happening. So, and as I said, The Undertaker attacking John Cena. Now why? That's a good guy attacking another good guy for no real obvious reason. And that will make fans wonder, it will make for an interesting product, and it will make for, as I said again, integrated feuds intermixing with each other. And it will make for more dynamic social relations between the wrestlers and the athletes. Also, the WWE has more and more established the mid-card wrestlers and the titles in the mid-card. which is also a sign of them noticing the older fans, because that's what I want. Once again, this was a great show tonight. I really think you should watch it. Good matches. Main event was awesome. There was no way WWE could have built up the main event for Survivor Series in a better way. And the crowd in Madison Square Garden was absolutely awesome. Tremendous atmosphere compared to the SmackDown we saw in Sheffield last week, which had perhaps the most terrible crowd I have ever seen in my life. And to all of you complaints out there, if you like to complain, Randy Orton bled tonight, so you got blood as well, because there are some fans out there, pundits in my mind, that everything they care about is blood. They demand blood for them to enjoy the product. They demand wrestlers for them to enjoy the show. They demand the wrestlers to cut themselves. I don't really know what that has to do with wrestling. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.